Welcome to Doxa Deo City Changers.
Well, we're going to talk today about relationships. This is the sixth key concept that we want you to be in conversation. And this is all about understanding how we connect our everyday life with our convictions as Christ followers. And relationships, of course, are fundamental to how we live life, how we function in life. The influence of relationship upon our lives can never be underestimated. In essence, we're going to talk about the people you hang with. Who are those people who have the opportunity to influence your life and you influencing their life? Listen to this scripture in Proverbs 2 verse 20 in the Message translation. He says, "So join the company of good men and women, keep your feet on the tried and true paths. It's the men who walk straight who will settle this land, the woman with integrity who will last here." You know, I've often thought about the relationships in my own life. And I've come to the conclusion that there are really 5 kinds of people in my life. And I want to share about these 5 kinds of people with you, and maybe you can identify with this, because this could help you as you position yourself within the context of your business, as you navigate relationships, as you navigate relationships even outside of your work environment, but within the context of your everyday functioning. Well, these 5 kinds of people, I start off by calling the first category of people in my life the very resourceful people. These are people who ignite my passion. These are people that have gone further than I have. They are people that become resource to me. When I spend time with them, I'm encouraged, I'm challenged, I'm stretched, I feel alive, because somehow they have the capacity to help me to believe for more. They help me to understand that there is a greater horizon. I would reference these people as fathers. People that stir and father that passion in my own life. You know, every one of us needs to grow. Every one of us needs to develop. You can never come to the place where you feel you've got it all wrapped up. If you are no longer exposing yourself to input that stretches you, grows you, develops you, you're actually standing still. And it's like standing on a conveyor belt. You can't really stand still. If you stand still, you're going back. You have to constantly walk against the inertia of that belt to stay ahead. I have a grandmother who was in her late 80s, and she one evening I was trying to get hold of her, trying to phone her. She wasn't answering the phone, and I was getting concerned. Later that evening, she phoned me back. She says, "I see you've been looking for me." I said, "Yeah, Gran, where you've been?" She said, "Well, I've just returned from a small group leaders training session." I was on the phone. I said, "Gran, you're in your 80s. Why would you go for training to lead a small group?" And she was kind of offended with me and said, "Listen, I want to tell you, I still want to do a lot for God than I can do with all the training I can get." If you knew my grandmother, she was a giant, an incredible person. She probably didn't need that training. There was something about her heart, her sense of desire to consistently grow and develop, even in her 80s. When I heard that, I said, "God, give me that spirit, that would be the way I would lead life." And so this is the first challenge is, who are those people in your life that are stimulating, stirring, engaging in your life? And the challenge for us is, you know, sometimes it can't always be people that you will have direct relationship with. Sometimes it's just materials and books and courses that allow you to grow. But make sure that you have those people in your life. The second group of people in my life is what I would call very important people. These are people that share my passion. They're people that have not necessarily gone further than I have. They're at the same level. They're my peers. They share the same conversation. And these are the people that come close to my life. They can look into my life. They can address the issues of my life. They are my friends. And friends are so important in our lives. Many times, people live without friends. You see, it's only a friend that will tell you if you've messed egg on your chin. A friend will say, hey, do this. If it's a good friend, they'll do it for you. But if it's not a friend, they'll talk to you, see the egg on your chin, and they'll walk away without saying a word, but they'll find somebody else and tell that person, did you see the guy with the egg on his chin? And you see many people stand in that relationship thinking that everything that people are saying to them is truth. It's only friends that will really speak into our lives. So you need quality friendships. But then, thirdly, we also have very teachable people. These are people that catch our passion. These are people that look to us as the resource in their lives. They put a demand on our lives. They would ask the questions, what do you think? You know, the moment somebody asks you that question, they've just put a demand on your opinion. Which means they want to hear what you think and how you would navigate this and how you would think about this. These are the people you pour your life into. This is where reproduction starts to take place. Because you now find people who become your followers. They tap into you as a resource. And then there's the fourth group of people in my life. And of course, as you might know, I am a pastor, and so the fourth group of people I would call very nice people. Man, these are nice people. They enjoy my passion. They love me, they appreciate me, they would encourage me, they're the people that would laugh at my jokes even if they are bad. They're the people that after I've spoken would come to me and say, oh, Alan, that was a wonderful sermon. And sometimes I would stop and ask them the question and say, what exactly touched you? And then they would look at me and smile and say, oh, everything. And I know actually what they mean is nothing. Because you see, they don't see me as a change agent in their lives. These are the folks. These are the nice people. They're nice. It's wonderful to connect and have small talk and process stuff in a general sense, but never do they see me as someone that is addressing the transformational imperative of their life. They're nice. And I'm sure in your own life there are nice people. They're just nice. And then there's a fifth category. These are very draining people. These are the people that suck the life out of you. They want to engage you. They want to have time with you, but they're not going to change. They're not going to listen to you. They're not going to even take serious what you say, but somehow they want to engage you. And many times those people are the ones that always have a problem with what you do, how you think, how you function. Now, just to make the F's work, because I started with fathers, friends, followers, folks. We'll call them foes. Here's what I want you to think. If you would draw a line between the top three, the resourceful, the important, and the teachable, and below, the line would be the nice and the draining. The time that you give to below the line is time you spend. You see, if you spend something, you can even enjoy it. You can spend it, but once you've done it, it's gone. The time you give above the line is time you invest. And you see, investment can be challenging, but it always has the promise of a reward. And if you can start to understand that in terms of your relationships, those three relationships, those that are resourceful in your life, those who are quality relationships in friendship with you, and those in whom you pour your life, are the key relationships of your life. We see, when you think about resourceful people, somebody once said, these are the 7 kinds of people that influence our lives the most. They are people of conviction, those that really sense calling in their lives, people of courage, people that share vision, people of character that live with values, people of compassion that really have servant leadership, people of commitment, those that have resolution, people of confidence, those that are really sorted in their lives, and people of credibility, those that have a track record in their lives. And here's the challenge. I challenge you to find people of conviction, of courage, of character, of compassion, of commitment, of confidence, and of credibility, because those are the people that you want to drink from, that you want to grow with, that will stir your life. But also build quality relationships. Friendship is an opportunity to learn about yourself, to become a better human being, to open up your life to a full experience of life. It was C.S. Lewis that one day made this quote. He said, friendship is born that moment when one person says to another, "What? You too? I thought I was the only one." It's when you sense this commonality and you share life together. But it's not just receiving, sharing, it's also investing. One of the amazing stories in the Bible is about Moses, this old man that was leading the people of God, and then God speaks to him about not going into the promised land. But you see, he had prepared another leader. Right through the journey, you can see how Moses was preparing Joshua. He invites him into the tent of meeting with God, and Joshua gets a sense of the presence of God, of relationship with God. Joshua is one of the ones he selected to send as a spy. He comes back and he's the bold one that says, God can give them into our hands. Here's the sad part. Joshua becomes this courageous general leading the people of God into the promised land. But when he dies, he has no successor. And it becomes the time that the Bible says of the judges, in which everybody did what was right in their own eyes. It brought confusion to that nation because he didn't invest in the next generation. May God bless you as you navigate your relationships well in the next season.
Today we are welcoming another city changer who's going to tell us something about a very special ministry that she has. So on the program, I'm welcoming Marianne Schwellnus. Marianne, welcome. It's great to have you with us today.
Thank you.
I'm very excited to hear what you have to say. In your introduction, obviously, you heard that got some anticipation because you are representing Red Frog.
Yes.
Now, when I read the name, if I'm honest, I thought, I've heard of people looking at animals and protecting them. I've never seen a red frog, but maybe my kids, when they were small, they were drawing something for kindergarten. This is not what we're talking about.
No.
Tell us something about what Red Frog is.
Okay. So Red Frogs is a support network, and our mission is to safeguard the next generation. So you were speaking about red frogs. It's actually, the name is associated with the history of red frogs.
But
so
do you actually have red frogs or what?
we actually have red frogs that we hand out.
Okay.
They're sweets.
Okay.
And so as it started in Australia, where there was someone who saw the need in the partying culture and decided he wants to make a difference. And
In
he
the
wants to take
partying culture?
Partying culture,
Okay.
yes. And so he wants to make a difference, and he started driving people home from the clubs and those environments. And the only sweet that he could find at the shops was this red frog.
Okay.
So he started becoming known as this red frog guy. And that's actually how it started. And then someone from in South Africa, in Durban, got wind of it and also saw the need in South Africa. And so they started a partnership, and so Red Frog South Africa came to be.
Okay.
So we actually, it's our 10-year anniversary this year for Red Frog South Africa.
So this support to people going to parties, I mean, what's the motivation behind it? Why would you bother helping people, that's in a party, probably doing some stuff they shouldn't, some substance abuse? What is the heart behind that specific ministry?
Yeah. So we recognize that the environment that the next generation of young people find themselves in is often, like you said, there are a lot of external pressures to get involved in substance abuse and sometimes the wrong activities. And so we want to be in those environments to really be the light. And we really believe that everyone is made in the image of God. And we want to protect that image. And we know that Jesus, we have experienced that Jesus loves us. And we want to be that love to people in a very practical and a very real way, where there's often, a lack of care and a lack of love in those environments.
So, following actually the way that Jesus engaged his community is what I see you guys are doing. I mean, he was with tax collectors and prostitutes and, even the worst of the community Jesus engaged. So in a way, we easily judge others and think, they're not worthy of support because of what they're doing. But like you're saying, sometimes there are external reasons getting them to that place, bad decisions being made, and they need our support and care then, hey?
Yeah, exactly. And, there's always a reason behind why people do things. There's always a belief or a motivation. And so the heart for us is to get behind, why, what are people thinking? Why are people engaging in these things?
See the person behind the behavior.
See the person, because like you said, we can so often look at just what people do.
And judge them.
And so we want to engage people where they are at in a very non-threatening way and environment, so that people can see, sure, that there's something else, and to make people think about their actions and what they're doing.
How did you get involved though? I mean, you often hear people, I can tell you of 100,000 wonderful places to get involved at, but what made you move from hearing about red frogs, hearing the vision, to actually say, I'm going to do something about it?
Yeah, so it was actually through relationship. I come from Cape Town. I'm originally from Cape Town, and I had a bunch of friends who they were involved in Red Frogs. And at that stage, I was under 18, so I couldn't get involved. But I just heard the stories of how people's lives were positively being impacted by Red Frogs. From Rocking the Daisies to Matric Rage. And so I just said, I believe in what they're doing, and I can see the fruit of that, and I want to be a part of that. I myself am 22, so I can resonate with the external pressures that people face, and so I want to, I want to be there and be the light for people.
But tell me, how does this physically work? You've been part of this for how long now?
About 3 years.
3 years. So if you go to a big musical festival or a Matric Rage or whatever these things are, what have you seen happen what do you do, and what are the testimonies coming out from your engaging the people?
Yeah, so first of all, how we engage in the practicality of what we do. So I would say that there are 3 areas of focus for us, and so the stories of really how we can see how people's lives have been changed through this. So first thing is just showing the practical love of Jesus. So by holding a vomit bucket for someone who's drank too much, and getting it on your jeans, but loving people in that. We have free pancakes that we give out to just get something in people's stomachs, but also to engage in conversation with people. Yeah. So it's sparing someone's dignity when they're exposing themselves and they passed out on our beanbag, is to cover them with a blanket. Sure. So that's the first thing. And the second thing is that and this is our main focus, is that we engage with people and build conversation and build friendship and relationship with them. I have an awesome story of a really good friend who's a part of the Pretoria Red Frog team, who met someone at a festival, and they engaged and they shared phone numbers, and they've grown their friendship to the point where he's actually living in the same commune as my friend. Okay. And just seeing how that friendship has impacted the guy's life. And the third thing is that the heart for me is to show people that there's a healthy alternative to the partying culture. That there's something else. There's something else to this life. To what we're doing. So some of the stories which I have personally experienced is at Matric Rage. I was sitting with someone in our tent, and he'd actually told me that he'd taken drugs a few hours earlier, and he'd asked me, what is my opinion on this? And I just got to share with him something of in an unconditional love, and where we left that conversation, and he'd started engaging with a friend who was also in Cape Town, because he's from Cape Town, and just the friendship and the freedom that he experienced in that conversation, where he thought that I was going to judge him for taking drugs, but actually that it was such an awesome conversation and an encouragement. Yeah.
So this is an incredible way of engaging people, and I think we so easily want to engage in ministries where it's comfortable, where it doesn't take much from us, making people have to be worthy of our attention. And here you're really unconditionally loving people regardless of their decisions. It's great to hear your story. Thank you so much for coming to the program. Let's really pray that God will continue to use this in many other ways, but like Red Frog, may the frogs be all over the place, and blessing people and really sharing the love of God and changing the city in the process wherever they minister. So thank you for being on the program, and God bless you.
Thank you, Dobbs.